After watching 2 hours of Baldur's Gate 3 gameplay, it's hard not to compare it to Larian's most recent RPG darling, Divinity Original Sin 2. It builds upon and morphs DOS 2's isometric turn-based RPG system into a gorgeous world touched, well, more like bathed in Dungeons & Dragons' current rules, systems, and lore. As someone who loves Original Sin 2 and D&D, I am absolutely on board for all of it. My heart is telling me to start with the D&D nerdery, but because you're seeing what I'm seeing right now, I just have to say, damn, Baldur's Gate 3 is beautiful. Look at that lighting, that dragon. Look at this foliage beneath the isometric camera. Sure, we saw a few hiccups here and there, but since our preview build was running on what's basically a whole new engine, we were reminded Baldur's Gate 3 is still very much in development. While some elements have been ripped straight from the last iteration of Larian's engine, like the 2-player local 4-player online co-op multiplayer, Baldur's Gate's new rule system, its entire cinematic pipeline, and, to quote Larian directly, a shitload of features added on top that aren't even finished yet, are all new updates. A lot of these changes are visual, like a new dialogue-driven cinematic camera and a zoomed-in, almost third-person camera view option, but the biggest differences are mechanical. For starters, verticality plays a major role in Baldur's Gate 3, with many environments comprised of 3 or 4 layers in the same space. Players can hide in the rafters or explore seemingly unreachable areas that require creativity, like a risky jump to access. This adds yet another layer of gameplay too, because from what we saw, nearly every object in Baldur's Gate 3 can be manipulated. And though it seems like a small addition, stacking boxes to leap up vertical levels opens a legitimate new exploration tool. Baldur's Gate 3 is full of these little flourishes that emphasize the creativity at the heart of Dungeons & Dragons.
My friend, every story benefits from a dragon.
Now, onto the D&D nerdery. I was first drawn to Larian's Divinity Original Sin 2 because I heard it was a great digital D&D substitute, complete with couch co-op. Its strategic, turn-based gameplay and outside-the-box ingenuity had me feeling like I was playing a homebrew tabletop RPG with my friends. Baldur's Gate 3 convincingly offers to up the ante, taking that feeling and dragging it into the legitimate Dungeons & Dragons video game experience. That's not easy to do.
Most excellent.
Something Larian repeated over and over during our preview is that they aim to be your dungeon master, and you're playing in their home D&D game. There are some house rules, of course, like the preference to use team-based turns instead of individual, or making shove a bonus action, but nothing too out of bounds. Everything they've tweaked or added for the sake of making a compelling video game has been vetted by Wizards of the Coast, so you know you're still getting the authentic D&D experience. The connection to the tabletop game is front and center in so many of Baldur's Gate 3's mechanics and systems. It's loaded with luck of the die skill checks being decided by the on-screen D20. But even if you don't care about the inner workings of the game or the math behind the scenes, watching that die spin in a tense moment infectiously trains you to react to rolls just like you would at the D&D table. Larian is so clearly trying to replicate the spirit of playing D&D with your friends, about the only thing missing is tossing out a set of misbehaving dice. As with Divinity Original Sin 2, Baldur's Gate 3 provides couch co-op for up to 2 players and online co-op for a party of 4, with an easy drop-in and out system. And Larian has been developing BG3 with co-op and streaming play in mind, allowing your teammates to see your dialogue options and dramatic cutscenes. For example, if you're playing Astarion the Vampire Spawn, which is one of several preset character origins you can select for a more crafted story, just like in Original Sin 2, your party will be able to see you debating whether or not to feed on them at night for a delicious blood-soaked buff the next day. And though they were tight-lipped about the details, Larian plans to integrate a system for livestream audiences to actually participate, and sometimes even control the player's dice rolls, which introduces a whole other level of communal play. I could go on about Baldur's Gate 3 for ages. I could talk about the fully voice-acted forest of branching dialogue trees, the 1.5 million word and counting scripts, the staggering offshoots of storylines to uncover, ignore, or actively destroy in an instant, or the incredibly detailed character creator, and so much more. But for now, watch the absolutely epic Baldur's Gate 3 opening cinematic and check out our complete in-depth thoughts on Baldur's Gate in the full written preview on IGN.com. And for everything else, you're already here. IGN.